Residents of Nemwe community are decrying the invasion of their farmlands by suspected Fulani herdsmen. Now, this invasion has, of course, led to their crops being devoured by cattle and other threats, as you know, as we always see with some mischievous herdsmen when they start to take over land owned by farmers and communities. To tell us about this and, of course, make us understand the extent of this issue, we're joined now by Mr. KC Mbani, who is a community spokesperson. Thank you so much, Mr. KC, for joining us on the show today.
Yeah, good morning. Welcome.
So just paint a picture of what is going on right now in your community.
Yeah, of course, it's a very sad development because we woke up December 4th. It's a very bad development because people went to farm to harvest their rice. You know, this is the harvest season. And you know, our communities, more or less, you know, we are mostly farmers. So our community people went to the farm to harvest their rice, only for herdsmen to invade. And the most annoying thing is this, they came in, we are directly grazing on the rice farms. Women, everybody was rushing to harvest their own, and they were threatening the community on top of that you have to do what you have to do, get your rice off, or you don't even have any say in your own farm. So people were rushing. It was so tragic. You can imagine the cost of rice now. So everybody was running. Once you can be able to get, you can harvest, you harvest. The ones you can't be able to harvest, they all grazed on top of it, matched the whole thing, flattened the whole rice farm. So, in fact, the situation would have gone out of control if not the fact that our community don't want to take the laws into our hands. So, it's very tragic. You can imagine, more or less, we are subsistence farmers, not even commercial. And all these old women, some of them invested their hard-earned money to plant rice this period. At the time of harvest, that is the most painful thing, must be noted. The time of harvest, they came grazing. And you are grazing in a farm. Even when there are other grasses, you can graze inside the bush there. So, but they decided to descend on the rice farm. So it was very tragic. So that's why we are crying that let the government hear about this, because this kind of issues is that not when they invade our family, you know, their normal way of invading communities, killing people, you know, Agatu story, you know, also one story, Nebo stories. So we don't want that in our community.
Is this a frequent occurrence?
Well, it has happened before.
Okay.
It has happened before, and we reported to their leaders in Enugu. So, but
The herdsmen, their leaders?
yes.
Okay.
We reported this to their leader. It has happened before, like 2-3 years. Yeah, I think 3 years ago. It has happened before. Now, the community now said, okay, let us be law abiding. We went to we met their leaders in Enugu. And after meeting their leaders, we told them nothing happened. We reported to the police, nothing happened. So the community community now gathered themselves up to say, okay, let's go and see how we can ask these people to go peacefully. We went there, they saw us in numbers, and they left. So this thing happened just 2 years ago. So after that, we didn't see them again. At a point, they resurfaced again. And when they resurfaced, you know how they do. When they come, they will start their normal grazing from there, encroaching farms, and they'll be watching the community, the reaction of the community. So when the last time they came, when we now marched there peacefully, they left us, only for them to resurface again this time around. At this point in time, when you can't even afford to buy rice, and you can imagine a poor farmer in my village, in my community there, can't even afford to buy rice, and the one he or she was able to plant all the day, and you can imagine it was terrible. You saw the pictures, and that was terrible.
Are they still there at this point in time?
Well, of course, they are still there, but the community doesn't want us to take their laws into their hands, just like I said. So what we are trying to do now, part of what the effort we are making is Right? You can see me here now talking about this. Now, we want the government to be aware of this, and other security agencies to be aware of this, because not when crisis happens. Now you now see people coming to community. Probably the security agencies will visit my community commiserate. We don't want that kind of situation. We want this thing to be handled. We want this thing to be handled, and we want the government to be aware of this so that security agencies can come to our aid at this point. Not that the community can't do anything, but we don't want to take the laws into our hands. We need to follow the due process, and that's what we are trying to do now.
Well, it's right. We're following the due process here.
Let's talk about the access points. You know, usually we hear reports of these suspected herdsmen coming from various states around the borders of Enugu. Are there suspicions you have about where these herdsmen could be accessing the farms from?
Yeah, if you my community, we have borders with, if you know, Ezecho, who is my community. If we have borders with Oboka and Nome community. In fact, you pass through my village if you are going to Nome, because the road has been tarred now. You just pass through from my village to Nome is 7 kilometers. Now, we have borders with Oboka. We have borders with Obako. So they access our farm through Obako. They access our farm through Obako. So when they come, that's where they saw, and Oboka. So when they come, they follow that place, and because the community is living where the main settlement, the community settlement is a bit far from our farmland. So that's why when they come, they don't usually see people easily, because unless we go to farm, and it's the distance that matters here. So they access through Obako and Oboka borders to our community farmland. All
right, just hold that thought, Mr. KC. We do have a technical challenge with your sound. We need to amplify it. So we'll take a quick break now. The morning show returns shortly as we continue to unravel this issue at the Nenwe community. Do stay. Welcome back to the Afia Morning Show, and thank you for staying tuned. We do apologize for the technical challenge with Mr. Mbani's sound earlier. So bringing it back to you, Mr. Mbani, let's talk about the exact area this is actually happening, because security agencies watching this, the government would want to know exactly where in Nenwe this is happening. And secondly, do these herdsmen or suspected herdsmen actually wield weapons? Are they coming there armed? Are they coming there with machetes? What are they carrying when they come?
You know, my sister, you know, these people can be as dangerous as anything.
Well, let's start from where exactly.
Okay, it happened in Ezecho, Uheze, Nenwe, in Aniri local government area. Ezecho is more or less a community populated with farmers, and is strategically located in the sense that we have forest, we have rivers. So some of these things are some of the things maybe they attract these people to our community. Now, when they come, they came in, and when they were grazing, some people raised the alarm. Some people raised the alarm, community people raised the alarm. And the community were able to gather 1 or 2 people to ask them to leave. They were threatening the local farmers.
Well, what were they saying? What were they saying? How are they threatening the farmers?
Some of them, they speak Hausa, they don't speak English. You have to do, you don't know dare us. That kind of statement. That, in their own language, according to some of them that the report I got. So they even shot on the air to scare the community.
They're actually coming with guns.
Of course now. So they came in and they shot even on the air to scare the community, because their modus operandi is more or less to scare you. When you don't react as a community, people, they will now settle and be grazing. And you got to a point my village, that cassava, we are known for. Cassava is one of the things our community is known for. And the cheapest thing you can even get in my community is gare, abata, the popular abata you talk about. So these are the cheapest things. Like, when you come to my community, we'll give it to you, we'll serve it to you. It got to a point when they were grazing in almost every farm in my community. And we couldn't even farm cassava again. Everybody was just scared to go to farm. The price now skyrocketed. Even people that used to give out gare, abacha, and all that couldn't even afford it anymore. We that is even living in the town, when you come into the village, you will now have to buy from town, unlike before. until we
What kind
now approach them, and that was the time they
What
left.
kind of
and
weapon are they yielding?
Of course, some of them they use guns.
What kind of guns? Like, is it automatic guns?
Well, of course, actually, from the report I got, there wasn't specific about the kind of gun, but there was the shot on the air.
Okay, because the reason why I'm asking, right, because is now another thing.
Okay.
Invading or the farmlands and yielding weapons and even using those weapons. So, have the community contacted the police? What are the police saying? And have they visited the place? Or I don't know. Holistically, let's talk about security agencies. Have you guys met with them? What was the conversation?
Yeah, of course. Like I told you before, this is not the first time this kind of thing is happening. Our case with them has always been in the police station. And this time around, about this incident that happened now, our President General, the President General and the VP, our President General by Mr. Popowa, Sunday Popowa, and his able Vice President, Architect KC Mbani, they are making every effort. In fact, everything has been, they are in the process of, they are into the process now to informalize the security agencies and all that, even take the record of the losses. Just like I told you, that part of the awareness we are creating is, you can see me here now talking about this.
Yeah.
So they are working on that. Of course, we don't want to take the loss into our house, like I told you before.
It's not right.
So we'll surely...
The case I'm trying to make here is to yield an automatic weapon in Nigeria is illegal. Already, that's what they are yielding, and apparently used, the shot in the air just to scare, the people of your community. And as you said, you guys have brought this to the knowledge of the security agencies, and they're not being proactive or visiting or trying to find a way to, amend things with these people. That's baffling, by the way.
It's baffling. I mean, wielding these automatic weapons or machetes or any other kind of weapon at all is wrong. And it's baffling, like Oji said, to hear that security operators have been informed about this and not much is being done. So it's really scary. But I have to ask this question. Has any farmer or resident of this community been attacked by these herdsmen? Beyond the threats, don't you dare us, what has any physical attack actually happened?
Yeah, I think such thing has happened, but I can't be able to confirm it to you because I heard it, but the report wasn't too, I can't confirm it right now. But because if it even got to a point that we can't even go there again, when you see them, all the women see them in the farm, they'll start running. They'll be scared. Just, to create that
confusion.
So it has happened before, but no issue of death has been recorded about that. But what they are trying to do is just to intimidate the community, to settle down and begin to graze and see the community as the weak type. Like I said, we are not. It's just that we don't want to take the loss into our hands. But that does not mean that we don't have the capacity to do so. But it's always good to follow the process.
Are there any security or police posts close to this area?
Well,
where is the nearest police post?
Nenwe is a big town made up of 4 communities, and the only police post station we have is in Nenwe, almost in the central area, which is a bit far from my own AZHO community that this thing happened. That's the only community, that's the only police station we have there. So apart from that, we don't have Nenwe's vigilante group and all that. They can be everywhere anyway. So that is us. We don't have any immediate police station close to AZHO community as it stands.
What is the local government's chairman doing about this?
Well, of course, because like I said, we are making this thing known to the world now. The local government chairman, we even petition this, we present this matter to him. Even our representative in the Enugu House of Assembly, we just want to make it, like I said, I keep on saying that we want to follow the due process. They also are making effort about this. So, because this is part of the awareness we are starting with this studio I am now.
What are the efforts they're making?
Well, of course, they need to, they are making effort and making promises that they want to contact the governor and even the police so that they can see how we solve this matter. So that our community will not have that clash, because they want to, avoid this nimbo, this Ozowani, and all this nimbo issues of this class. You see, you wake up one day, you see herdsmen invading your community, killing people. So we don't want that situation to happen. And that is why we are trying to make sure that everybody is aware of this through this platform you've given us. Thank you for that. And also other efforts we are making, forming the local government chairman and making even the Nenwe stakeholders. They are also aware of this, and everybody is not happy about it.
I have to ask now about the timeline.
Okay.
When this started, we saw the local government elections take place, and of course, the new chairman was sworn in, and now they've assumed their positions. Do you see a political undertone in these attacks? When exactly did these invasion, not attack, when exactly did this invasion begin?
Well,
how recent?
Well, you mean this one that happened now?
Yes.
Yeah, of course. This one happened this December. It was the second.
Has it happened before this December?
Yes, it has happened before now.
When?
It has happened before now. That's like I said 2 years ago, when the community have to gather themselves up and to ask them to leave. And when they saw us in numbers, they left. They were
so those suspected herdsmen at the time, they were not as violent or firm as this particular set of herdsmen?
Well, of course, that time, you know, when there is no time you can say they are not violent or what, because they always want to, they always pretend.
But you asked them to leave and they left. But this time around, they are telling you not to dare them.
They are telling us not to dare them because, you know, this time around is because, you know why this one is very unique is that you at the time of harvest, you came in with your cows only to graze on those rice farm because people are harvesting already. There are other grasses you can graze on. But why do you choose to invade the farms when people and threatening them on top of it? And you know how much rice. So that's why this one is unique. So how can you say that in that case, I can't say they are always aggressive at it because when some of them that is even harvesting their rice, they told them, according to the report I had, that you have to do this thing and leave this place, and you should not dare them. So how can we be living in, okay, like Enugu State is place where, look at what Peter Mbani is doing, the governor of Enugu State, doing very wonderfully well. And this is a man that is encouraging agriculture. And there's one scheme that the government has launched, I think so. And this kind of scheme can be going on, and we can't be tolerating.
Exactly.
So it doesn't make sense.
It's great that you are not taking laws into your hands and the community members are not taking laws into their hands. But we have seen how bad these situations can get. We've seen matters in communities around suspected herdsmen escalate and lead to bloodshed, lead to death, and lead to other vices that could, you know, even lead to displacing the people, the actual community dwellers. So it's important for the security agencies, the government at all levels to respond to the plight that has been raised by Mr. Mbani, because if this issue is nipped in the bud now, we could actually avert further destruction of life and property. How can herdsmen just bring their cattle right into someone else's plot of land? This is trespassing already, and then start to graze on their rice and other crops that they're just ready to harvest. So I would like to see more proactive measures being taken by the local government chairman beyond just making an effort to communicate this. Actual effort collaborating with the police to get these herdsmen back out to back off from these community farmlands. Because like Mr. Mbani said, the farmers there rely on subsistence farming. That is all they do, and that's how they feed their families. So it would be great for the government and security forces to collaborate and solve this problem. At least now it's gone down in history. This interview would forever be in the sands of time. And it would be very sad if this matter escalates and nothing was done about it at this time that the issue was raised by the community spokesperson. Thank you once again for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me.
Yes.